tomorrow.
Hello everyone. I'm Jonathan again. And just a disclaimer, we are just in a capacity as students, not as actual senators. Before we give this presentation, I want to make sure that it's clear that we're just here on behalf of just Jonathan and Mary. All right, here we go. So this is a devotional today by Joyce Meyer. She's a famous pastor out of Texas. You probably heard her before. If you haven't, she's really good. But she has a devotional series called Dealing with Fear in Uncertain Times. I feel like this week and next week is going to be very challenging for a lot of us as we go through finals. But I'm just going to run through the devotional really quickly. But the title of today's devotional is You're Not Alone. And it goes that when we're going through difficult times, it's important to remember that God is right there with you, and you can trust him to help you through it. God never promised us a trouble-free life, but he does promise to never leave us or forsake us, especially in Hebrews 13:5. In hard times, we can take comfort in knowing that he loves us tremendously. He has his eye on us, and he is already working behind the scenes to help us. I've also learned from experience that we can trust God to use these times for our benefit. When everything seems uncertain and unstable, he helps us draw closer to him and hang on to him as a rock of our salvation, Jesus Christ, who can never be moved nor shaken. When we're hit by life storms or experience things that we don't understand, that's when we have to remember that God is always with us. No matter what we think or feel, no matter what our circumstances look like. Jesus is with you through every storm, and you're not going to come out stronger. Well, one second. Jesus is with you through every storm, and you're going to come out stronger on the other side. He is the one who loves you unconditionally, and he's the one who you can turn to during your difficult times. And as you trust God through it all, he will give you something stable. He will give you more of himself. So one thing I want you guys to think about over this time, this is one really good quote that she says, that God gives us permission to enjoy times of difficulty. So during the next 2 weeks, when you're studying for 5 tech exams in 1 week, just remember that God allows you to enjoy yourself, even during times when you feel like, things are tough and the road might not seem easy. Just remember that you have the ability to enjoy your life. So thank you.
I was going to say another little I guess you would say advice on everything, but a good quote too is work like it all depends on you and play like it all depends on God, because it does, but obviously work really hard, but then just give it to God, because there's nothing else you can really do.
Yeah. Also, our group week just got sent out before the meeting, so join that. During finals week, we'll send daily scriptures that keep you motivated through everything, so look out for that. Thank you. Presentation or okay, that's fine.
Next, we're going to have our exec goals presented.
I think somebody
we're going to do exec goals first, if that's okay.
Hey all, we're just going to go through our exec goals really quickly. We finished these in the past couple of weeks. We've been working on these really since we all got our roles. So we're going to go through and kind of talk through everything that we're planning on working through throughout our terms throughout the summer. And if you want to help us out on any of these, we would love that. But first, obviously our mission is serving and promoting the individual student, unifying all of Auburn. But our vision for all these goals is achieving new heights for the entirety of the Auburn family, by impacting multiple areas across campus. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to students.
Okay, so we have 5 different parts within our exec goals, I guess umbrellas you could say, and underneath each one are more action items or just ways we can measure these goals. So the first one is student experience. You can read it behind me, but it's pretty much creating release schedules that provide more options for move-in dates, break, housing that allows students more flexibility when classes are not in session. So that includes like Thanksgiving break, spring break, early move-in for recruitment. Also, if international students come in early, they have that option to move in early. So it's more flexibility for those students who may need it. Second one is refining the student game day experience for further accessibility in various athletic facilities. That's outside of just our football stadium. It's also the other various facilities as well, just to make sure that they are accessible to every student and where we need to grow in that. And then lastly, improving Auburn's tennis and pickleball court areas for the promotion of students' physical and mental well-being by providing restrooms, water fountains, and trash receptacles. We've already started working on this. If y'all have been there recently, you definitely can tell the improvements, and yeah, we're really excited about the student experience.
Next, I am going to talk on centrality of resources. So this looks like implementing a central map containing all of Auburn's resources, locations, etc. I don't know if y'all seen LSU's interactive map, but I think this is where we got our idea from. So you can kind of envision yourself like walking around Auburn's campus. You could like click on the Haley Center and like find your class in there. So it'll be super useful for our students, and then advocating for faculty to provide more information pertaining to your class structure upon registration. So this may look like when you go to Tiger Scheduler, you can see that this Bio 1000 class is very discussion based, or maybe all of your grades come from tests, or maybe that there's never homework, and these are things that you might want to know upon registering. And then lastly, we want to encourage standardization of class Canvas pages. I know that's something me and Dylan talked about last year. I took a course, he's in it now, and that Canvas page looks nothing similar to the Canvas pages of the rest of our classes, and so sometimes we miss assignments, or we can't find the syllabus or other various things just because they're formatted differently, and so we want to make that more uniform.
Okay, the next word that we have a couple points under is admissions. So we want to increase the Auburn family touch by growing our missions and allowing alumni, I've been forgetting that word today, and faculty in the enrollment process, and then also accommodating the recent growth of the student body through providing study spaces for students in order to pursue academic excellence.
All right. We have campus enhancement, and that includes completing the installation of the Albee figure to celebrate the Auburn spirit. It's pretty self-explanatory. We've also got ensuring the student voice is considered during the Plainsman Park improvements to ensure the growth of the student experience. We just want to make sure the students' voices are heard through that process. And then also constructing an on-campus prairie garden to showcase the biodiversity of the state and to celebrate Auburn University's land-grant identity. So I don't know if y'all know this, but a large part of Alabama's natural biome is prairies. So there's something called a prairie garden, which looks a little bit different than just a regular flower garden. So we thought that'd be a nice touch to add to campus for sort of a campus beautification project to celebrate our land-grant identity.
Okay, and lastly, I just want to cover outreach presence. So our first goal is one that I'm really excited about. It's just increasing and promoting financial literacy, which was something that was very passionate to me and still is. I was running to be elected as your next SGA treasurer. So we're looking to support the region's Next Step Financial Wellness Program across campus. So what this is going to look like is bringing in a GA that is centered around financial literacy. And the first year that's going to come out of SGA's budget. So I'm excited about that and to work with he or she on their goals for the year. And Lastly, we're looking to collaborate with other student clubs and organizations to host crossover events with inclusivity at the forefront. So it's just about like expanding SGA, making it more of like a broader base in terms of students that we reach with, students that we connect with, network with, and maybe even become friends with. So yeah, and that's pretty much all from us.
Y'all have any questions?
Any questions? Going once, going twice. Perfect.
Next, we're gonna have a presentation from Freshman Forum, their SPU event.
Hey, also, my name is Peter Peter, and I have the honor of being in Freshman Forum this past year. And so we're just here to present on our Serve Promote Unified project that we had this past fall and some of the feedback that we got from the freshman class.
Yeah, so the biggest thing we want y'all to take away from this is just kind of get some ideas for resolutions, ideas on bills that you can help serve the freshman class, help serve Auburn. And so first thing we're going to talk about is mental health. So as you see, I'm not going to explain like all the data, but 77% of freshmen that we polled have not used on-campus mental health resources. And when we listed all the ones that are available to them, on the next slide, there was not that many diversity like what they chose. They didn't really understand what was available to them. And so some quotes we have on the next slide about that. Y'all can read those, some ideas. Lots of concerns about getting appointments online. I know that some people are working on that. So we just really want to throw the ideas out there. I know that Trey and I are going to work on a resolution. We can kind of consolidate the information we have in mental health on AU Access. So if anyone wants to be working on that with us, any ideas on how we can improve that, like, do you have any feedback on that? I know that some people are working on like mental health in here. Do y'all have any like tough stuff, anything to add? And then there's one more slide about solutions for mental health. And that was create an online scheduling resource through the REC website, MedClinic website, or Advise Assist. So yeah, there's a lot of different resources. There's a lot of MedClinic stuff. There's a lot of recreation stuff that are all centered around mental wellness, mental health. And so what we want to do is kind of create a place, wherever that may be, to make sure that students have a place that they can go and get whatever they need. So there's a lot of different things that Auburn offers, but no one really knows how to access them. So I'll kick it over to Fuja for athletics.
So in addition, as you guys can see, some of the numbers here, a lot of students as far as freshmen go, we're mainly at most of the games, but a couple students are like, hey, we'd love to see a bit more promotion as far as athletic events, and maybe that's within their dorms as far as graphics and not just in the emails. Also moving on to housing, a decent amount of freshmen were actually on campus, but then those that were off campus on those on-campus apartments, considering 160 and 191, we're kind of concerned about as far as dining goes, but I know that dining has said that they are only allowing freshmen like to have on-campus meal plans, so that's the 5 slices a week, and then the $425 dining dollars. So we are understanding that that is not changing, but also we're talking about potentially having that option where students are able to have that blue package, which I know is new this year, but also pushing that onto freshmen and have that option, because when they have that kitchen access, it's sort of like, okay, well, why do we need to have that 5 slices a week? But that's all that we have, so thanks for listening.
Awesome, thanks. I'll send out that PowerPoint if that's okay with y'all tomorrow. I'm recapping that. Okay, finally, we have one last presentation, utilize budget forum. Yeah.
in mind is starting a new tradition in the springtime of our college year. Normally, this is kind of out of the ordinary, but I think it's something special. I think that if we do this and we do it correctly, it can reach a lot of students. This would be an event that I like to collaborate with UPC to do, and also to have some initiatives and events that are similar to our peer institutions. We can go to the next slide. With this event that I want to accomplish is to have inclusive events, maybe art and student expression. You can see music, lineups, food and merchandise, but something that all of these kind of have in common is that they bring together students from all over campus. Of course, we all know food brings everyone out, but just not just that, but also different activities like sports or music, something that can really show, that in the springtime that we still look and value our students here in Auburn, and not just being confined solely just to musical artists. So go to the next slide. So next, as you can see, currently during the springtime, I've spoken to many students, and they see this kind of as a dead period on campus. It's like you kind of go through your football season, and it's kind of like, okay, yay, and then you get to spring, and it's like, oh, you might have your formal, or you might have another event, but some students don't have access to a formal. Some students don't have access to go to, an event off campus 2 hours away in Birmingham or Atlanta. So that provides you perspective. 2 years ago, we did have a similar event called Tiger Fest. It's been a very long time. It's partially due to COVID. It's a but an event that kind of had live music, just solely live music. And it kind of stopped over COVID just because of just the lockdown and just the increasing prices of having musical artists. However, it was a true benefit, and one person in the Plainsman mentioned how they just really enjoyed it and they got to meet many people. But one thing I want to stress about this is that it's not solely off of the music, and further slides we'll see, I'll tell you why that's not this sole thing. Next slide, please. So as we can see from our peer institutions, everyone except for Mississippi State, Oklahoma State, and Virginia Tech, either I could not find something or it wasn't totally exactly what I was looking for, but other peer institutions like University of Alabama, Florida State, they all host different events. For example, Florida State has one called the Spring Fest, and I believe going over to our aspirant institutions, I forgot to change that. UNC has a thing called the Spring Jubilee, but as you can see, majority of our institutions, they do have an event that caters to students during the springtime, which is seen as a niche period. Next slide, please. Thank you. And so one example I want to give is UT Knox's Ballapalooza. It's an event put on close to the end of the academic year to provide students with an outlet to kind of relax before going into finals week, which we're all experiencing now. They've had artists such as Lupe Fiasco, Portugal the Man, Andy Grammer, Wiz Khalifa, and this year they're hosting Lizzo currently. It's pretty big. This is an example of one that all of these are student-led, by the way, but one thing that they do prioritize is sponsorships, which is something I would love to explore, but it's a way for them to be able to capitalize and bring these set of artists here. Next slide. So next we have UVA. Yes, UVA. They are a peer aspirant institution example. And one thing I do value about them, because they are an aspirant institution, they do have more resources available to kind of splurge on these specific events, but they have what I truly feel is a student-centered event. They have not only just music, but they also have comedy events. They have student-led activities and also several artists. For example, they had a tie-dye station, a bath ball kind of station, basically where you can make your own bath balls, cool activities like that. But they posted artists like Jack Harlow, Daniel Caesar, and many more. But this one example really sticks out to me because all of these are put together by their UPC board, and also secondly, kind of highlights the pinnacle of where we should be. Next slide, please. But this one really sticks out to me, is really close to my heart, because this was actually started by students 5 years ago. They had a break because of COVID, but it truly shows you what a school can do when they're determined from scratch. What they do truly, they kind of take the music as like a last attraction, but they really focus on activities, foods, craft, and merchandise, which is a really important thing for fundraising, other events that we might could use to our benefit in the future at SGA as a whole. What they've done is really called their Last Day of Class series. As you can see right here, there's a t-shirt, kind of them using their green space to do so, but it's really an example of students being intentional and making sure no student is left out. And we know music is not every student's scene, but we want to make sure, well, they have made sure that they're able to kind of show like what, inclusivity looks like, especially in the springtime. Next slide, please. So what is the why? The biggest thing, the why, is one of our 3 pillars of SGA is to unify, and food, music, activities, that brings people together. Regardless of your differences, that's just one thing that can make sure that we can be a year-round place of enjoyment, besides, spring being let's get through finals so we can get back to football season, if that makes sense. But also, we have an opportunity really to form a new tradition here at Auburn. We love and we pride ourselves on being a place of tradition, and why don't we, try to find a way to expand that more and to make it available to more students, just besides athletics in the fall, if that makes sense. Next slide, please. So of course, everything costs money. So these are 3 charts. The first chart, don't be alarmed. These are previous examples or averages I've taken from previous budgets on different events. For example, this is really skewed due to an event held in 2017, which had a budget of like $300,000, and it's like, that's of course like out of this world, but these are different examples I kind of put together that kind of shows the range and the way we can make this event possible with the different resources we have available. This big purple blob here is, of course, artist booking fees. As you know, if you want to go to a Taylor Swift concert, they are out of this world still and they're not changing. But also other things that are needed, which we'll touch on in different slide. The next one, please. It's actually the things that we don't really think about or see on a daily basis, like the venue, the event staff we have to have, the production, and also the fees, and also the manpower and insurance it takes to make such an event possible. And so these are some kind of hidden costs that we have to kind of consider when making such an event. I can tell you now the production is out of this world, along with getting fire watches, basically having firefighters on hand, along with police, EMTs, and security. You might think they're all doing the same job, but they're actually doing 2 different jobs. Event staff, they're the security, they're protecting the artists potentially, and the police are kind of guarding the general public as a whole. So all these costs are kind of taken into a whole. For example, next slide, please. So one of the things, what can we get out of this, is truly, I think, the formation of a special committee. I think this would be a great opportunity to really pull all of our great minds together to figure out a way to make this possible. But one thing that I would like to have this committee, which we kind of saw with the VA committee, is actually having people who are not currently in SGA, but actually represent a broad demographic that might not be represented in this room, which I think is important. I think having members from UPC who kind of have experience with this would help. Having members of cabinet who actually have areas of expertise or their domain kind of falls under these areas, and also just students from all over campus that, we can only help so much, but sometimes we don't live in other students' shoes, so having that perspective really helps. And so that's why I think that unify is one of the biggest things, and that's the one thing I want to get done with this project potentially, is having a tradition that we unify everyone. Next slide. And then the next steps, of course, as I mentioned, when we get back from the summer break, I would like to submit a bill to form another special committee that was done previously, hopefully, with the Veterans Affairs. Secondly, I'd like to begin reaching out to Cabinet to begin official benchmarking. There's only so much I can do without pulling out all my hair and like getting frustrated on not figuring out everything. Because of course, college students aren't, as documentative as professionals are. But lastly, also begin gauging the interest of students on what would actually bring them out to make them a part of the Auburn family in the spring. So those are just my steps. If you guys want these slides, let me know. I kind of have a kind of broken down budget. If you guys want this, but if you have any questions, just let me know. Or if you have any now, I don't mind taking a few. Well, all righty.
Thank you, Jonathan. Would anyone else like to utilize the virtual this time? We will now move into approval of the minutes. The minutes were sent out last Tuesday and also put into the box. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Okay, seeing none, the minutes will be approved and corrected. And now we'll move into reports from our officers, beginning with the president.
Yeah, just a few things. First, whenever you have an opportunity, if you want to look at your phone or your computer, we just had updates to AU Access on your My Campus page. And so if you go on there and you see anything that looks different, you have any questions or want to see something improved with us, please let us know. I also want to give you all some highlights of the last VOT meeting. First, the new Auburn figure was passed in front of the health students there, which is super exciting. There's multiple facility improvements across campus, and then the Harrison School of Pharmacy will have its first undergraduate major, which is also going to be really neat. It'll be the only one like it in the state, which is really neat. Judicial, E-Board, and E-Council will all be passing through Senate tonight, and so all those interviews were last week. We just completed Chef Wars and exec team, so if you have an opportunity to go by the Edge or go by the Dining Hall this week. And then we're excited to begin working on the exec goals that we presented with y'all earlier over the summer. That'll be when we get a lot of the work there done. And then also too, over the summer, we'll be having boards and committees appointments. So if y'all be on the lookout for that, I'll start going through the process and matching everybody. But thank y'all so much.
Thank you. Next, we have a report from the treasurer.
Okay, so not much for me. One thing that I did want to remind you guys of is to please inform others and let them know that initial budgets are due on June 1st. So what it's going to look like, it's just like getting a budget request, comparing the current budget to the budget that they want for the fiscal year, which starts on October 1. Getting that funded out. So that's pretty much for me. Do you guys have any questions? Okay, and I know one thing that me and Julianne has been talking about is implementing a budget for the senators. Having like some form of Senate retreat in the fall, because I know Cabinet does that, and Julianne hated to see you guys left out. So I don't know if she's planning on keeping that under wraps or for a surprise, but that's something that I'm working on, that I'll be helping her head. So I just wanted to share the good news with you guys. So, cheers.
Thank you. Next, we have a report from student staff.
Hey y'all, I guess some things for me, we are having an SOS involvement browse this Friday, which is being hosted. It will be in the morning, so if you're in the student center around 8 a.m., stop by, say hey. We're also working on marketing requests for Camp War Eagle, making sure that we have little fun SGA gimmicks to hand out, so that way people are knowledgeable and aware of our student government, and also are encouraged to apply for Freshman Forum, EXP, and Lobby Board. And then lastly, we had our headshots taken today. Hopefully y'all had a chance to get your picture taken. If you haven't, please reach out to the AVP of Media Operations, Caroline Kelly, and she is going to be scheduling a makeup day. So reach out to her if you cannot make it during that time frame today, so we want to make sure everyone has a picture that we can showcase on our website. Lastly, I am in the works of brainstorming for Better Relations Day this year. We're going to be hosting tentatively November 9th. So if you attended last year or just want to know more about it or have any ideas, please let me know what you'd want to see this year. Thank you.
Thank you. Next report from outreach.
Hey everyone, a few things for me. Up All Night's coming up, so that's when we pass out donuts, orange juice during finals weeks. We do that in the library. So the signups are out. That should have been sent in your group me. I think we still need a few more spots on Thursday, so if y'all are free, definitely sign up for that. It's super fun, and we should have some special guests each night. And then AU Dining is giving out free pizzas again, Monday through Wednesday during finals as well. And so we will be making a sign up for that soon and sending to y'all as well. If y'all are interested in that, it's a little earlier. If some of y'all like to go to bed, it'll be at 10. And then AU10 video promotion project is underway. At the very beginning of Senate, I explained what AU10 was, but now we are reaching out to the participating businesses and getting to hear a little bit about their use of AU10 and how it benefits them, and then maybe videoing some customers as well. But we'll be doing that within the next few weeks and also over summer as well. Heyday planning is underway. We announced that Heyday will be October 18th at Cabinet earlier, so thought y'all would like to know as well. We're super excited, and there'll be lots of planning going on during summer. Our feedback and assessment team will be training for baseline tomorrow, so that deals with all of the surveys that we have. So if any of y'all are needing benchmarking for a survey, just be patient with our team. We are training them right now. A few more things. Camp War Eagle, Pep Rally, Spirit Tunnel signups will also be coming out soon. That's when SGA members as well as other organizations are able to participate during these pep rallies and get these upcoming students and their parents excited about the pep rally. Lastly, we are meeting with Dr. Clayton this week, Dawn, Carter, and I to promote initiatives between SGA and OID. So we're really excited about that. But I hope y'all have a great week. Thank y'all.
Okay, finally, report from initiatives.
All right, hey everyone. We had safety walk this week, and it went incredibly. We had a really great turnout. We had a lot of help from members of SGA, and had a great turnout from different administrators that got invited and came. Overall, it was just very productive. We got over 50 reports from 7 different groups. The most common was about burnout lights. But yeah, we also had some reports about dimly lit areas, emergency blue light phone problems, and there were some pedestrian and traffic, landscaping, facilities, and construction concerns as well. But yeah, it was very productive. We really felt like we were serving the student body there very well and helping keep this campus safe. Also had a meeting with Eric Smith this week to talk about pickleball court improvements, and they've got a great plan set up: bathrooms, water fountains. They're renovating a building out there. So more on that to come in the future, but it's looking good there as well. So that's pretty much it for me. Hope everyone does well in finals. Thanks.
Hey, that concludes our officer reports. Now we'll move into reports of the colleges, starting with at-large.
For at-large, no report.
College of Agriculture.
College of Agriculture. It's been busy on the Hill this week. We had ag council interviews, which is our exec team for the school, and we got our date for Welcome Back Picnic, which is a large gathering at the beginning of the year, for all the clubs to meet the freshmen and get them involved on campus. So we're super excited for that. That's it. That's about it. Austin.
College of Business.
business. Just a few things from us. So we held a philanthropy event with the university's therapy dogs, as well as another philanthropy event as a clothing drive to benefit our house past couple weeks. And then next week on Thursday, we're gonna have business and burgers, as well as snacks and Triple H during finals week. And then we're also collaborating directly with the DEI committee for the College of Business and having a student representative on the board starting in the fall, which is really exciting. So that's it for me.
Next we have COSAM,
Lady, COSAM, no report.
College of Education.
Finding in Education, we held an event on Thursday called Munch and Merch, and we allowed students to get popcorn and buy college education merchandise, which is new to the college. And we also had an event planned for Welcome Week in the fall. I think they're passing out pins and chicken biscuits. So that's it.
College of Engineering.
Rudolph Engineering. Really exciting times in the College of Engineering over the last couple of weeks. First things first, we had our leadership and alumni group kind of meet over the last week and a half to 2 weeks, oftentimes right after the installment of President Roberts. We then presented him at dinner on that Friday with his first official presidential portrait. So it was very nice to see him and Ms. Tracy enjoy that. Then they also hosted student leaders from SGA to over 20 plus student relations within the college for dinner on that following Friday. And that was very engaging with like top CEOs, mentoring our different exec teams, how to lead the organization and really be intentional within their recruitment. We are just now hearing back within the long process of our ABET accreditation. That's like a really big thing in the engineering world. Oftentimes you won't get a job unless you come from an ABET accredited program, which basically says, hey guys, we meet the criteria to educate and inform the next generation of great and upcoming engineers. So they gave us feedback on that. We send back their answers, and hopefully going into next year, we will still be ABET accredited, but with a little bit of university history. At one time, we were on probation with that. So we're happy to have that back and continue to keep that. Last week was Black Alumni Weekend. We hosted a lot of our Black Alumni leadership to really discuss a lot of the things that the university has been struggling with, and particularly our college. Everything from DE&I metrics to recruitment of faculty to research. Looking at the fact that 2 years ago or a year ago, we spent $77 million in research. Thanks to Dr. Taylor, so that was great. Looking at how that's affected, we just got a brand new grant that got $30 million like 2 weeks ago. So that puts us, we were at 66, and now we're back up at like 74 or somewhere around there with minus the current things. And then Dr. Eden is transitioning into the dean's office. So he's begun having those meetings and not really shadowing, but starting that process with Dr. Taylor. And Dr. Taylor did also interview for the VP of Research position last week on Friday, I think. So we're excited to see how that goes. But it's all from College of Engineering.
Okay, next we have College of Forestry, Wildlife, and Environment.
Brooks Forestry, no report.
Grad School.
This is Boali from grad school. Last week we had a meeting with Laura Flora in grad school concerning our temporary housing for the new grad students, and it's going well. So we are expecting the feedback, and we also had a meeting with the new executive of Grad Student Council, and we are really excited with their plans for the grad student for the year. And they are starting their tenure from next month by May. And normally we used to hold a monthly curriculum in grad school, and the one for April is coming up tomorrow, and is targeting on navigating the pivot platform for graduate funding. That's all from me. Thank you.
Next we have College of Human Sciences. Liberal Arts.
Beyond CLA, our council is working really hard. They're already planning our first event when we come back in the fall. and they just told us that they're in the works to get merch, and they're working with the people that did the Harvard merch, so that's pretty cool. A lot of people wear that, Miller still wears that as a graduate. So really excited about that. If the business people have any feedback, we have our Assembly liaison in the back, so if they have any feedback about how that went with working with them, I'm sure she'd love to hear about it.
And Charlie Nixon.
Road Camp Nursing. Right now, the nursing school is collecting diapers and wipes to provide those resources to outreach programs in Alabama. We also have our first outreach this week on April 27th, and they're catering Taco Mama on Smith Lawn. And then a few weeks ago, we had our first diversity day. So we were able to hear from different professionals in the area about how to better take care of patients in Alabama.
Now we're going to committee reports starting with Academic Affairs.
Not much of academic affairs. We did not meet today because I guess we're not going to meet this week. Hopefully I'll get somebody that meeting. That's right. But besides that, we're planning our summer engagement calendar, like what it's going to look like. Some of our summer projects, we're getting a lot of feedback. I wanted to ask the room by a raise of hands, who all in here plans to take the MCAT and or LSAT within their time at Auburn University? Great. So looking at that number, really putting that on our goal sheet and looking at what coursework could look like to involve that prep within your undergraduate curriculum. I do think they can find a very creative way to like bridge that and make it very, very valuable to the student body. Also looking into the development of our CRDC or our campus career development and corporate relations office. They're going through a lot of changes right now. We're developing that new app. We're scheduling a meeting with them to kind of rope in a lot of our different goals for the year, starting with everything from student resource groups all the way down to coursework. And then going from there and looking at our different types of syllabus engagements. So our VP of Academics was very involved with this early on this semester. So we're going to be planning some news about that in some time as well. But that's all from academics.
Thanks for the President of Finance.
Third world business. So my initial email about the BNF process and timeline will be sent out tomorrow. Now that we have all the representative contacts and information there. And tonight we have 2 RFRs and 1 PDF coming through on the floor. Thank you guys.
Hearing at large. I had a meeting with Liz on Friday, and we're working on the I Voted Stickers initiative, so super excited about that. If you have any ideas on that, let me know, because I would love to get some feedback, insight, things y'all might think would be good. We're still working on factory sealed food, and we're gathering feedback on the SGA exec and his homecoming situation, how we want to go about tackling that, and on we're working in collab with student affairs on crosswalks and mental health resources. And now I am going to move or ask to move all future orders of business to current orders of business.
Is there a second?
Yes, second.
All in favor of moving all the future orders to current orders, please raise your hand and say aye. Aye. All not in favor, please raise your hand and say nay. All future orders removed with the current orders.
Thanks.
Next we have PEI.
Hey everybody in business, I hope you all had a good week. It's weird seeing everybody in different chairs. Let's see. Just a couple things for me. The state of DEI was last Thursday, it went very well. Dr. Clayton was great. She talked a lot about the past of DEI and the future of DEI, and it looks really bright for Auburn. like Maddie mentioned in her report, we have a meeting this week with her and my cabinet counterpart, John, with Dr. Clayton to speak goals and initiatives for the year. I had noticed something that I mentioned in our Senate exec meeting. A lot of the engineering in the newer buildings, they have a handicap button at the bathrooms, and I thought it would be good if a lot of the higher traffic areas, like the Haley Center or the Student Center, had that as well. So I'll be speaking with the director of accommodations to kind of see what his thoughts were and if it was a possibility. I'll meet with Brad hopefully this week and go inside the stadium to see if the railings inside the student section is feasible. If not, we'll hopefully come to some solution to try to make game days more inclusive and safe for the Auburn students. That's it for me.
Thanks, Brad. Next we have student affairs.
At large, just a few things this week. So dining, I think a few people touched on it. So it's Customer Appreciation Week at the Edge. So that means every single day, well, not just at the Edge, but Tiger Dining. So if you check the Tiger Dining Instagram, there'll be something every day. And that ends on Sunday with late night at the Edge. So that'll be a great event. The whole week will be a great event. And then with athletics, we've been meeting tomorrow with Kelby concerning the baseball fan experience. Again, like if you have any feedback concerning that, shoot that our way. We're talking about having an outfield student section, which will be pretty fun. And then with housing, we got some feedback with the village in Lane Hall. There's a recre box that has cleaning supplies. And if there's a way that we could put one in the quad center, we think that would be a really good idea just so everyone in the quad has those cleaning supplies available to them. And then with parking and transportation, Eb had a meeting with Ryan Corper and Chris Harris about 320 and the signage issue on campus. And he's working and they're talking about replacing old signage potentially and ways to navigate that. And then with health and wellness, Vera did some great work this week and contacted the ABP of feedback and assessment. And now the Med Clinic is a category on Auburn Answers. So if you get anyone who needs to submit a review for their Med Clinic appointment, just point them in the way of Auburn Answers. And then had a great meeting with Kevin Watson this week, who's over OIT with Student Affairs, and followed up on a project that John David Jones was working on last year in Senate with study spaces. And it was really encouraging. So rooms in Triple H and select rooms in the library will become live toward the end of the summer and into the fall for students to study in. And the DIB system will soon be replaced by a new system that's a lot cleaner. And then with AU Access, I think that was already touched on also, but that's still being reworked. So if you have any feedback regarding AU Access, things you want to see, things that you might want to see removed, also let us know. But that's all from us. Thanks, all.
Now we have the executive committee.
Alfred at large, not much from me. Thank you to everyone who came to exec this week. Happy week before finals week. Y'all don't have to do office hours or involvement hours this week. Study hard and do well, and we'll come back in the fall. And then if you need anything over the summer, please email me or Julie-Ann. And if you keep working on your projects, just keep copying us. So, oh, and to be clear, we don't have Senate next week. It's the last one. So.
That concludes our committee reports. Now moving to reports from liaisons for Youth Honors Congress.
Butterfield Honors Commerce. So last week we had our Tetris tournament, and we also had our 5 finals event. We also finished raising money for Relay for Life, and we raised $455. And then this week we're doing like a main Relay for Life event at the Oklahoma Courthouse Square on Friday, and then this upcoming Sunday, right before finals, we're having a leadership meeting with every chair and director, kind of go over expectations for next year.
Grace Field Student Veterans Association.
Graham on SGA, nothing report.
Now moving to current orders of business. This bill is brought to you by Senator Yawn, PSSR 23032401.
Jan CLA. I move to table this legislation, PSR 23032401 to the fall.
All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye to table this legislation. Aye. All not in favor, please say aye. Nay.
So I just like to point of information. So I just like to point out and I just kind of clarify the work between us and the ASBA is like not done. We just want to do this in a specific way. We want to make sure after debating, after talking to people, make sure we do this in the right way. Tomorrow at 5 at Floyd. What room is it?
It's the basement of Floyd. Don't go through Floyd to get there. If you guys know the Floyd parking lot below, that's our ASBA sign out there. You're more than welcome at 5 to come attend and talk with us and understand what we're doing with the ASBA right now.
And there's going to be work over the summer. I'll be here over the summer if anyone wants to reach out, work with them, kind of get more ideas of how we can create a feasible and like structured special committee. But until then, see you at 5. I'll send them a group chat too.
Our next current order of business is brought to you by Senator Chippewa.
Shrivel business asks for approval of the following: the allocation of $910 from the reserve fund to the line item titled Schools Council Nursing to the Student Government Association of the Government Student Activity Portfolio. These funds will make it possible for the College of Nursing's Executive Student Council to host a catered social event for students. I'm going to pass this bill as written.
Is there a second?
Second.
Please go vote in the campus quiz. The ayes have it, and this bill will be passed as written. Next, our current order of business is also brought to you by Senator Chippewa.
Federal business asks for approval of the following: the allocation of $4,900 from the Program Expansion Fund to a new sub-line item entitled Production under the line item titled Special Events Spring Concert to the University Program Council of the Programming Student Activity Portfolio. These funds would cover the Auburn Productions invoice that accounts for the performance staging needs for the 2 separate bands. In order to have a successful event, sound and stage materials are needed for the performers and must be funded through this new sub-line item. Move to pass this bill.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there a movement and second? Is there any debate? Seeing there's no debate, you can go vote. ayes have it, and this bill will be adopted. Next current order of business, this bill is brought to you by Senator Alford.
Offered at large, I move to pass this bill as written. Oh, sorry. I ask for approval of the following: Ella Grace Bowers, Miss Auburn Chief of Staff.
Is there a second?
Second.
Now it's been moved and seconded. Is there any debate? All right, y'all can go for it in the next words. Great, the ayes have it, and this bill will now be adopted. Next current order of business is brought to you by Senator Yon.
John CLA asks for approval of the following: 201.2, strike Vice President of Cabinet Administration, add Chief of Staff. 201.2.1, strike Vice President of Cabinet Administration, add Chief of Staff.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any debate? All right, seeing no debate, y'all can vote. Great, the ayes have it, and this bill will be adopted. Next current order of business, this bill is brought to you by Senator Franklin.
Business, ask for approval of the following: Ethan Gutowski, Director of Parking and Transportation; Alexis Brown, Director of Information Technology; Michael Moraes, Director of Auburn Rings; Sophia Douglas, Director of Auburn Rings; Bo Crane, Director of Auburn Rings; Ellie Grace Crowder, Director of Auburn Rings. Move to pass as written.
Is there a second? Is there any debate? Y'all can go vote. The ayes have it, and this bill will be adopted. Next current order of business is brought to you by Senator Alford.
Offered at large, I ask for the approval of the following for Organizations Board: Sam Volan, Marley Green, Carson Frank, Rolando Paez, Cole Wheeler, Ella Biles, and Olivia Burgess.
Is there a second?
I move move to amend. I move to amend to add, comma chair behind Sam Boland's name.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor of amending this bill, please raise your hand and say aye. Aye. All not in favor, please raise your hand and say nay.
Move back to the bill. Is there any debate?
Moving back to the bill, is there any debate? Seeing no debate, y'all can vote. Okay, the ayes have it, and this bill will be adopted. Next current order of business is brought to you by Senator Flanagan.
Flanagan Education, I ask for approval of the following: Anna Zyrek, College of Education.
Is there a second? Second. Is there any debate? Seeing no debate, y'all can vote. Okay, the ayes have it, and this bill will be passed. Yay, no, Senator. Next current order of business is bill brought to you by Senator Alford.
Alfred at large, I ask for the approval of the following: Elections Board, Chandler Lynn, Chair, Emily Walker, John Bowles, Jr., Vivian Stabler, Alex Lawling. Elections Council, Kathleen Wilson, Director, Scout Sanders, Mary Grace Hicks, Carly Rickman, Maddie Gold, and Jacob Savadra.
Is there a second? Second. Is there any debate? And y'all sent their confirmations in the email earlier today. Seeing no debate, y'all can vote. Okay, the ayes have it, and this bill will be adopted. Next current order of business, this bill is brought to you by Senator Talley. Tally Human Sciences. Ask for approval of the following: Michelle Mezzo, President of Veterinary Medicine, Charlotte Whitmer, Vice President. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any debate? Lucy, or Senator Alford?
Alfred at large, I move to strike, Charlotte Whitmer.
Is there a second?
Second. Why? In the business, when they increase the why?
Can I direct that question to James?
So in random eligibility check on the student did not meet the eligibility requirements that are required in the code of laws to be an SGA officer.
All in favor of amending this bill, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
All not in favor, please raise your hand and say nay. Okay, this bill will be amended, and now moving back to the context. Please go, is there any debate on what's left? Okay, seeing no debate, y'all can go vote. Okay, the ayes have it, and this bill will be passed as written. Next current order of business is brought to you by Senator Herring.
Hearing at large, I ask for approval of the following: Ian Morelli, Chief Justice; Hannah Hollis, Secretary; Ellie Dayhuff, Attorney General; Lucy Allen, Associate Justice; Matt Wilson, Associate Justice; Sam Jones, Associate Justice; Kate Allen, Associate Justice; Alex Dushman, Associate Justice; Lily Cobine, Associate Justice; Braden Webb, Alternate Justice; Walker Hartfield, Alternate Justice; and Kennedy Thorpe, Alternate Justice. I move to pass this bill as written.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any debate? And y'all were also sent their qualifications earlier today. Okay, seeing no debate, y'all can go vote. We can use the quiz. Make sure y'all are all voting. Okay, the ayes have it, and this bill will be passed as written. And our final order of business is brought to you by Senator Chadwell and Senator Hilton.
Federal business, I ask for approval of the following: the allocation of $8,175 from the program expansion fund to a new sub-line item titled Late Night Pizza under the line item titled Outreach to the Student Government Association of the Government Student Activity Portfolio. These funds would cover the purchase of 1,500 pizzas to be distributed to students during finals week. And before we pass this, I move to amend this bill and strike program expansion fund and replace it with reserve fund.
Oh, is there a second for this amendment?
Second.
All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
All not in favor, please raise your hand and say nay. Okay, this amendment is passed.
Move to pass this bill as written.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any debate on this bill? Okay, seeing no debate, y'all can go vote. Okay, the ayes have it, and this bill is written. So we have no more current or future orders because we moved them all up to current orders because this is our last Senate of this semester. I hope that y'all have enjoyed your semester and y'all study hard for your finals. Please don't lose touch of your committees and your projects that you're working on. Feel free to reach out to me. Over the next month, I'll be in Auburn. Reach out to me, give me a phone call if you ever need anything. So keep up the good